Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Spontaneity. I'm Spontaneous One. Welcome back to another D&D video. This one's gonna have kind of like two sides to it. This is going to have a kind of for DMs, and then kind of for computer open. It's fine. Kind of for players too. So this video is about a puzzle, and it's a really famous one. Kind of. This is my own twist on it. I've used, experienced all this. So, a lot of people like the Sword in the Stone, where you have kind of like King Arthur's and all this. Could be a way to progress the plot, could be a way to find a chosen one. It's pretty simple. People keep on going to the Sword in the Stone. It's a giant stone with a sword in it, and only the worthy person, kind of like Mjolnir, can take the sword out of the stone. Very simple. People keep on trying, never succeed, and depending on the DM, they'll have one of you be able to pull it out of the stone, and you get this magic weapon or legendary whatever. So this is gonna start off for the DMs, what you can do to spice up that encounter, and the next thing's for the players to have fun with. Now, DMs. Disclaimer. When it comes to the player section, if a player does this, you don't have to let them do it, but at least applaud them for creativity. I know they took the idea from me, but they're trying something different, which you should try to, like, not necessarily reward, but don't be harsh on them for. Anyways, so starting off with DMs. A couple fun ways to use an interaction like this. One of my favorite that I've done, because I think I've ran this 4 times in total, was I had someone not in the party be able to pull it out. It sounds a little messed up, but I needed an NPC to join their party because it wasn't quite a balanced party. We didn't have enough players for what I was planning on running, so that was how I could throw in an NPC. Story I'm particularly telling you, we had a druid, a cleric, a wizard, and a sorcerer. And they kind of just needed, like, cleric can be a tank in a lot of different ways, can be a good damage dealer, healer, but they needed a good damage dealer slash tank in the party. So I gave an NPC, which was a fighter, and I gave the fighter the legendary sword. It was an easy way to kind of just throw it in there. Their adventure party, they're trying to slay the evil. I think I was running a dragon at that time, kind of like the King Arthur story. And I threw him in there. Thought it was great. Ended up, he became king and happily ever after. Another time I ran it, it was going to be where one of the party members pulled it, but I had them all do strength checks. So whoever rolled the highest strength check won. This can be fun to do. If you don't have a particular party member you want to give it to, it can be really fun. But something can happen like it did to me, make the entire campaign so much funnier. You could also plan it out, but whatever. So we had all 6 party members, because there were 6 of them, roll a strength check. And I told them it was for turn order and to add strength just because. And the person who got the highest strength roll was going to be the one to get it. I didn't tell them that though. So they all rolled. And it ended up being the wizard who got a natural 20, which just beat out the fighter who got an 18 after his modifiers. So I wasn't taking the nat 20 as an auto success. The wizard had a +0 and they rolled a 20. I mean, it's the best they could do. And it beat the fighter who rolled, I think it was a 14 +4. So the wizard ended up getting this legendary sword. And the wizard was actually, this was a level 1 party. So the wizard ended up doing Song of the Blade, or Blade Song. I don't quite remember what the name of the subclass was. And it all worked out. It was really cool. it made for an interesting campaign for a level 1 wizard to have a long sword. It's something funny. And my last little DM suggestion when you run this, don't be upset if certain players don't want to try to pull it, and don't just put it on to like the lawful good fighter gets it, the lawful good paladin or cleric gets it. It's even funnier when the chaotic neutral or chaotic evil or neutral evil character gets it in the party. Warlock carrying around the legendary sword of King Arthur, or whatever you want to make this legendary sword, it can just be as good or sometimes better of a story because it's something no one would expect. My last little story on what I ran with this sword was we ended up having a warlock get it, and his patron hated the sword. His patron was, I think it was Cthulhu, and the sword had divine, all these divine things to it, and Cthulhu just hated the sword. So every time the warlock used the sword, Cthulhu would try to corrupt the sword, or would completely leave him depending on how the sword rolled, because I had the sword roll to see how strong it was against Cthulhu. And it was really cool, because they entered a town and they're like, "Oh, adventurer, you've come to save us." And the warlock has then pulled out the sword, put it up to the innkeeper's throat, and was like, "Give me your money." It makes it fun and interesting, especially to see what they would do with it. Now, this is the player section. Your DM might not allow some of the things I'm about to tell you. Do not be offended. It is their campaign. You're only a character in the story that they're writing. Think of it like a director in a play, or a director in a movie. You might be the actor, you might be the lead actor or lead actors, you might be the most important role. But if the director tells you not to do something, or that what doesn't fit with the story, just accept it, please. Don't say, "Spontaneity told me this." They won't know who I am, so it doesn't matter. One of my favorite workarounds, and this is something that I saw, I cannot take claim for doing so. I saw this happen. We had a party member who was a druid who had a brilliant idea. They had craftsman tools and ended up carrying a pickaxe because we were supposed to go on a mining adventure after we stopped by the sword to look at it. We weren't even supposed to mess with the sword. We were just like, you know what, let's mess with it. And if you kind of caught on to what I'm saying, you're really smart. If you haven't caught on, you'll figure it out in just a second. Two party members end up trying to pull it out, weren't able to. And you could be the climactic, the last person gets to pull it out, or whatever. Well, the druid was like, you know what? I got this. Wild shaped into a bear, grabbed the pickaxe and just slammed the pickaxe into the rock, destroying the rock and getting the sword out in a different way. Now, how you do this could differ, but chiseling the sword out, breaking the rock, could be a funny way to get it out. Because a lot of people are like, well, the sword's magic. The rock might not necessarily be the magic part of this. If it's just a rock, you can break a rock. A lot of characters in like anime and TV shows take pride in breaking concrete. Well, in D&D, smash the rock. It could be really funny, and your DM might allow it. If they do, you know what? I like that type of DM. They grace and give rewards to creativity. And if your DM doesn't allow it, you know what? They should enjoy that you're trying to think outside the box. Because the most straightforward answer might not always be the best one. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of puzzle slash like what you can do in a situation. Hopefully you guys did enjoy.